Hello, I'm Jashykins, and welcome to my review of The Walking Dead episode Clear End. Holy fuck, this is an awesome episode. This is just awesome. I can't really describe how awesome it is, like, in one sentence, but it is awesome. This is the best episode in a long time. This one really sticks out. And what's interesting about this is, spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen any of my other reviews, this one really focused on one little event. In it, Rick, Michonne, and Carl go out, drive to find new weapons, and while searching for weapons, they find our old pal from episode 1 of the series, Morgan. And we end up finding out, what actually happened to him, because I'm sure a bunch of you were wondering what the hell happened. I know my fiance, Rev Bresner, was like, what happened to this dude? Where is he? Why hasn't he called? Is he still alive? And that was just from Rev. Holy shit. Well, we find out, back in episode 1, we find that he has a wife that has been zombified. And I'm sorry if I'm talking about The Walking Dead and I use the term zombies, because they're zombies. It's just, in the Walking Dead universe, the term zombie has never been created. They've never been talked about. So they call them walkers because they walk. And I'm going to fucking call them zombies if I fucking want to. Anyways, they don't find any zombie. I went off on a point. I went nowhere. But anyways, Morgan's wife had been zombified, and she was just let loose to roam around because Morgan couldn't stand to kill his wife. Because it's really, in the early episodes, the point that zombies used to be humans were really pushed at you. And the people, just growing up to live in this world that's now full of walkers, they couldn't really deal with it, so Morgan let his wife live. But sometime after Rick left, the wife ended up attacking Morgan's son, because Morgan's son couldn't stand to kill his mother. And so the wife ended up killing his son, and Morgan had to kill his undead wife. And this really put Morgan into shock. And before I continue on with Morgan, Morgan's son not shooting at his undead mother really puts a stark contrast into Carl, who actually did kill his mother. Just thought that was cool. So Morgan, after having to see his son get in by his undead wife and then to kill his undead wife, he fucking totally lost it. He just went nuts, because he killed his wife and his son, and because of his inactions, his son died. So he went off on the deep end, and so he ended up finding this one place, staking it out, putting really complicated booby traps and escape plans. If you watch The Talking Dead, you'll see they sort of went into a little more detail about Morgan's little hideaway, which was really cool. And if you don't watch The Talking Dead, you really should. It is fucking awesome. It's now an hour long. You now get stickers on Get Glue for it. So anyways, Morgan's created this place and kept to himself, and he at first doesn't recognize Rick for Rick because Morgan's just totally fucking lost it. And so the Morgan and Rick bits of the episode were really interesting to see because Rick has, been hallucinating, and he's been shutting himself off to the world. And finally he gets to see the end results of it, which is Morgan. And Morgan is just fucking crazy. So the Rick and Morgan bits are really Rick delving into himself and really reconsidering how he's running things. Now, I mentioned Carl and Michonne, and they have a cute little subplot together. They go off together to get a picture of that has Rick's wife in it, Lori. That has Lori and Carl in it. And so he goes to get that, and that little part is nice and neat. There's a little tense part. And then Michonne ends up just getting it for him, and also taking a cute little cat thing. And she's like, oh, I was going to go in there anyways. This is too cute to leave behind or something. And speaking of Michonne, this episode was fucking awesome for Michonne because I loved Michonne before. But this time around, we really got to see her actually talking to people. We got to see her doing things. And it was nice about Michonne bonding with Carl and then with Rick, because before Rick and Michonne go back, Michonne says, you're seeing things, and hey, I saw my dead boyfriend, before. And he goes, do you want to drive? Sure. Hey, I can't because I see things. But yeah, both the Sly Michonne and Carl subplot and the main Morgan Rick really combine nicely, leaving all four characters to really shine this episode. It is just awesome to see. There are great many points that go on. Oh, jeez. Oh, and I can't forget Backpacking Guy. I'm going to talk about the Talking Dead in like a second, but this hiker's like running and he's yelling at the guys at, the group to let him in. And then afterwards you see him dead and they stop to get the backpack and they continue on back to the prison. And it was great. The Talking Dead had the in memoriam part. They always do, showing those who died. And they made fun of the hitchhiker guy because they're like, even in the post-zombie apocalypse, hitchhiking is not allowed. But thanks for your backpack. But I also bring up the backpack guy for another reason. Some people on IMDb were like, well, if it was a woman, they'd stop. Like, suddenly changing the character to be a female would make it any more devastating that they left and saw her killed. No, I fucking don't buy it. I don't think they would have stopped even if it was a woman. Because the transformation Rick goes through in in Morgan's insane land has not happened yet, and plus, stopping for people you just don't really tend to do in the post-apocalypse, because the rules have changed, and what if the backpack guy hadn't been innocent? What if it's just been a scam? But that being said, I think when Rick and the gang go back towards the prison, they're maybe, especially Rick, reconsidering what they did, because Rick has learned to be more open, and he gets to see what happens when he's not open, because Morgan gone crazy. And Morgan's gone crazy, and now he's allowed the hitchhiker to die. Anyways, The Walking Dead Clear, best episode in a long time. And I have been Jashykins, owner at jashykins.blogspot.com. If you want to contact me outside of YouTube or my blog for whatever reason, you can do so at Facebook at facebook.com/jashykins fan page, Twitter at jashykins, Tumblr at jashykins.tumblr.com. If you're viewing this on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment below. And if you're watching this on my blog, thank you just for watching. Subscribe, comment, just, share. Thank you. And I'm sorry I suddenly got all weird near the end, but that might have interrupted the take. You might still interrupt the take. Anyways, until next video, goodbye.